The night was bitterly cold, the kind of cold that pierced through the skin and made every breath sting. Snowflakes spiraled under the pale glow of the street lamps, and the usually busy city street had emptied, leaving only the faint hum of distant traffic. At the corner, near a flickering bus stop sign, a young girl sat on the hard metal bench. She was no older than 20, yet her frail frame and hollow cheeks made her look younger, almost childlike. Her thin sweater was no shield against the winter wind. She clutched it tighter around herself, knees drawn to her chest, but the shivering wouldn't stop. In her hands was a small, worn-out backpack, her only possession now. Her name was Elena. Life had not been kind to her. Orphaned young, shuffled through foster homes. She had grown up learning more about rejection than love. At 18, she aged out of the system with nowhere to go. For a while, she worked at a diner, but a streak of bad luck, sickness, and the weight of loneliness had stripped her of even that. Tonight, she had nowhere to sleep, no money for food, and no one to call. The bus shelter was her only refuge from the biting wind. She sat there, fighting tears, whispering to herself, "Just hold on, Elena. Somehow, just hold on." It was almost midnight when a soft voice startled her. "Hi." Elena lifted her head, blinking away the blur in her eyes. A little boy stood before her. He couldn't have been more than 5. His small boots were dusted with snow, his cheeks flushed pink from the cold. But what caught her breath was his smile, warm, innocent, and completely out of place in this frozen night. "Hi," Elena managed, her voice hoarse. "Where's your mommy?" The boy didn't answer right away. Instead, he sat beside her on the bench, swinging his tiny legs. He looked up at her with eyes so big and honest. They seemed to see through every layer of her sadness. Then he leaned closer and whispered, almost like sharing a secret, "Can you be my mommy?" The words struck her heart like a thunderclap. For a second, she couldn't breathe. "What?" she asked, thinking she'd misheard. "Can you be my mommy?" The boy repeated. "You look lonely." "I don't like it when people are lonely." Elena's throat tightened. Tears she had been holding back spilled down her cheeks. This little boy, a stranger, had seen her emptiness, and instead of turning away, he offered something so pure it shattered her defenses. Elena wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "Sweetheart, where's your family? Your mommy? Your daddy?" He tilted his head thoughtfully. "Daddy works far away. Mommy, she's in heaven now. Grandma's supposed to be with me, but she fell asleep in her chair, and I wanted to see the snow." Elena's heart ached. This boy, wandering in the middle of the night, carrying such quiet sorrow, was as lost as she was. "You shouldn't be out here alone," she whispered. "But I found you," he said simply. "And you're not alone anymore, right?" She stared at him, unable to form words. All her life, she had longed for someone to say exactly that. Minutes stretched into hours. No bus came. The schedule posted on the shelter wall was useless. The city buses had stopped running hours ago, yet neither Elena nor the boy moved. They sat together, sharing silence, their breaths fogging in the cold air. At one point, the boy leaned against her, resting his head on her shoulder. Instinctively, Elena wrapped an arm around him. For the first time in years, her body stilled. The shivering faded. The warmth of his small presence spread through her like a fragile flame. "Do you have a name?" she asked softly. "Lucas," he murmured sleepily. "What's yours?" "Elena." "Pretty," he said with a smile. "You look like an Elena. Can I call you mommy?" "Elena?" Her chest tightened again, but she nodded. "If you want." And so, in that lonely corner of the world, under the falling snow, a girl with nothing and a boy with everything to lose found each other. When dawn broke, the city woke with it. The streets filled with cars, shops open, and the harsh neon of the night faded into soft daylight. Elena sat up, stiff from the cold, still cradling Lucas, who slept soundly against her. She knew she had to do something. She couldn't let him wander lost. With trembling resolve, she stood, carrying his small hand in hers, and began walking toward the nearest police station. But Lucas squeezed her hand tighter. "Don't leave me," he whispered, fear in his eyes. "I won't," she promised. "I'm just making sure you're safe." When they arrived, a kind officer recognized Lucas immediately. His grandmother had reported him missing during the night. Relief flooded the woman's face when she arrived, wrapping Lucas in a tearful embrace. Elena, Lucas said, tugging her sleeve. Don't go. The grandmother turned to her, gratitude shining in her eyes. You brought him back to me. Thank you, child. She hesitated, then added, you look like you could use a warm meal. Please, come with us. That small invitation became a turning point. What began as a single meal stretched into days. Elena helped around the grandmother's modest home, cooking, cleaning, and laughing for the first time in years. Lucas clung to her, introducing her to neighbors as Mommy Elena. It startled her at first, but each time he said it, a part of her heart healed. One evening, the grandmother took Elena aside. You've been through much, haven't you? Elena lowered her gaze. I don't have anyone. You do now, the woman said gently. Stay with us. We don't have much, but we have room for love. Tears filled Elena's eyes. For the first time since she was a child, someone had chosen her. Months passed, and winter melted into spring. Elena enrolled in community classes, found part-time work, and slowly rebuilt her life. She no longer shivered in bus stops, no longer carried her backpack like a lifeline. She carried something far greater, the warmth of belonging. One night, as she tucked Lucas into bed, he looked up at her with sleepy eyes. Mommy Elena? Yes, sweetheart. Do you remember that night at the bus stop? Her voice caught. I'll never forget it. I whispered to you because I knew you were mine, he said simply. Elena kissed his forehead, her tears soaking into his hair. You saved me, she thought. You gave me a family when I had nothing. And as Lucas drifted into dreams, Elena sat by his side, whispering into the quiet room. Yes, my little one. I'll be your mommy, forever.